But anyways, let's move on now into the juicy stuff, the good times. Where is Kyrie going to get traded to? If he's traded.
Minnesota.
And that's where you want him to go.
And remember, this is a man without a no-trade clause.
I would love it.
He doesn't have a no-trade clause. He can go wherever. The 4 destinations that
he requested.
Windhorse, yes, yeah. Windhorse said that he requested were San Antonio's. A bowl of San Antonio's.
Sounds delicious.
Jesus. San Antonio, Minnesota, New York, and Miami. So those are the 4 places that he wants to go. His preferred destination, according to Woj, is San Antonio. So looking at all of this, what is the best fit for Kyrie, not only out of those 4, but just in general, out of all 29 teams that aren't the Cavs?
I want to say the Timberwolves, and the reason being is we already have talked about them. Like, in my mind, they are one of the teams that I cannot wait to see actually hit the court this season. Jimmy Butler, you still have Cat and Wiggins, you add a guy in. Patton, we should have had that pick. We should have had their pick. They shouldn't have gotten one. But
Jeff Teague, too.
Jeff Teague also, but the thing with the T-Wolves that I don't think it will happen is what will they... Ooh, Jamal Crawford, too. I forgot about him. Crawford. The 37-year-old that's like, I don't like my knees. I'm just
likes to shoot, though.
I'm just going to get rid of my knees playing for Thibodeau. But I want to see that one. I don't think it's going to happen, though, because really, what do you give up for Kyrie? It's kind of like what you mentioned at the end of the last segment is what's his value and what are the Cavs going to ask for him? Because for me, I would say, here's a bunch of picks, and then I'll give you like Jeff Teague, or I'll give you like some young players.
You're saying because you don't want to give up Wiggins.
I don't want. I want to see Kyrie with Wiggins. I don't want to give Wiggins back to Cleveland.
That's hilarious.
That's the funny thing. Is all right. We draft Wiggins, and then we're gonna trade him because he's not ready for an NBA championship. We're gonna bring in K-Love. So then you're turning in pretty much K-Love into Wiggins again, or you're turning Kyrie into Wiggins. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a weird transition because like, as much as I love bringing in Kevin Love at the time, it's like Wiggins got potential.
It's kind of what's it called? It's kind of like investment. So like we're gonna invest our Andrew Wiggins into a K-Love, and then we're gonna have to give our Kyrie Irving back into an old Wiggins. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't Anthony Bennett and Deion Waiters a part of that deal too? Didn't they have 3 guys? I know it was Bennett.
Bennett went up there. I don't think Waiters was.
Because wasn't it
Waiters went to OKC.
Wasn't it like something crazy, like 3 first-round picks or?
I don't know exactly. I'll look it up.
Like
future mortgaged.
But I think if a trade is going down with the Timberwolves, I don't think it will happen. Just because, like you said, it's kind of a mess. I think Wiggins pretty much has to be in that deal.
Yeah, he's got the value.
You're not giving up Cat. You're not giving up Jimmy. So, I mean, it's really the only guy that has value and might not really fit on that team is Wiggins. Because really, you look at Wiggins and Kyrie. Kyrie's the better player, and they play similar-ish like styles where they're the scorer. Like you look at Kyrie Irving, he's gonna be a guy that creates shots. He's gonna be able to shoot from the outside. Wiggins is still learning to get to that point.
Shot,
yeah, he's still learning to get to that point.
He can take it to the hoop.
Yeah, but like both guys really can't play defense too well. Where Jimmy will be your lockdown defender, Cat will be the guy that can stretch the floor, go inside, be a dynamite on offense, and Kyrie's going to be the guy that kind of runs it all. Where Wiggins, we don't really know his position, but he might be the guy that might be able to run some of the offense for the Timberwolves. Obviously, they brought in Jeff Teague for the other parts, but I think at least similar-ish roles, not exactly mirror matching, but still. I think that the only way that deal does go down is with Wiggins there, and ultimately, I don't think. I mean, does Minnesota even take that chance?
No, I'd keep Wiggins over Kyrie. Yeah, more potential with Wiggins in this team than trying to force something and get Wiggins here just to get him to play with his buddy Jimmy.
It's funny, too, that a day ago it just came out that Minnesota's turning their focus to getting him a 5-year contract extension, too.
Absolutely.
So the focus is to keep him there. So I ultimately, I don't see that happening. And then when you look at least San Antonio, I don't think they have any value. I think I'd love the fit of Kawhi and Kyrie.
I wouldn't like the fit. Then the reason why I'm shaking my head adamantly when you brought up San Antonio, it was something that Dave and I brought up last week when Road Trippin' Podcast for Richard Jefferson, he had Robert Horry on, and it was just unique and kind of a unique insight to hear Robert Horry and Jefferson kind of talk about when you go to the Spurs, you are giving up your individuality, and you are basically going for your role. Whatever role they want you to play, that is it. You are not an individual on that team, and I I don't see Kyrie going to the Spurs and being able to buy into that after what we talked about with he's the alpha, LeBron's the alpha, and he doesn't want to be with another alpha. I don't think Kyrie can go, yeah, I'm not an individual on this team.
Yeah, it's putting a lot on there. I think the Spurs is mostly out of A, respect for Pop and their time playing together under Team USA, and then B, because Kawhi Leonard is the only man in the West who looks like he can challenge the Warriors.
Well,
so
and
if there's a chance,
Kawhi isn't more of an outspoken leader.
He's
a very on the court leader, and he can be, and Kyrie can be the star there. Where I mean,
Kawhi plays defense.
Kawhi is one of the best players in the league. We all know that.
Absolutely.
But he doesn't get the respect of that. I mean, he's definitely a quiet superstar.
Is it because he's
where
not
Kyrie can be that vocal guy? He can be the guy that people look at and that's Kyrie's team.
Is it because he's not outspoken?
No. I mean, that guy doesn't have...
Okay.
I mean, he probably does have somewhat of a personality, but you look at him in an interview...
No, but I mean,
and,
why... like you say, he doesn't get the respect he earns. Is it
I think
because
part
he's
of it's
not...
market, part of it's his outspokenness. He doesn't have a crazy, huge shoe deal. He doesn't do commercials like crazy. Like, you don't see the same level of branding from Kawhi Leonard as you do from guys like Chris Paul and LeBron James.
And there's just not a lot of hype around him. I mean, Steph, he has the crazy outside shooting that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
LeBron's been a focal point of our lives for 14 years now. You look at KD. KD's very similar. 2007 to on, he's been like that, and he had his own style.
Scoring monster.
Yeah, I mean, and he's scoring monster. And he's also, I mean, he always was putting up highlights where
Defense ain't sexy.
But I mean, and
Sorry.
Kawhi is someone who's just
But it wins championships.
Kawhi is also just developing as his own scorer as well, and also KD was an MVP.
Yeah.
Kawhi
Yeah.
hasn't been that yet. So I think ultimately, I don't think Minnesota's going to happen. I don't think San Antonio's happen. I don't see Miami being able to match value at all, and I also don't see New York really matching value.
New
Because
York's got the chance because of Carmelo Anthony.
One second.
But do you
when you said MVP, are you meaning season or finals?
I mean, he does got that finals.
Because he does have the finals
Kevin
MVP.
Durant winning the MVP is more important than Kawhi Leonard winning
I
the
don't
finals
know.
MVP.
Kawhi Leonard, he balled out against LeBron.
Yeah,
against
I'm not
that
saying he
Miami Heat.
did, but who's a bigger superstar?
Well, I'm not saying he's
Not even close.
I'm not saying he's
It's
a
not even
bigger
close.
superstar. I'm just saying that was a huge finals.
I
that was a huge
never
was a
said it
great
wasn't.
feat.
Just put some respect on his name. That's all I'm
I
asking.
do. I'm just saying no one
all I'm
else
asking.
does.
Yeah. I
Like a
we could play
YouTube
the-
commenter. Well, Kawhi had a Finals MVP in 2013 and shut down LeBron James. So I don't know what this guy's talking about.
I never
Kevin Durant
said you
won
know
an
what you're
MVP,
talking
but he's
about.
got a lot of injuries. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Shut up, Ricky. I just said he's underrated.
Just putting some respect on his name. Back to the Knicks. Dave
Back to
Oster
the
about
Knicks because
Knicks.
Miami doesn't have a fucking shot.
Miami, I mean, what do they got to trade for him? Bunch of guys
Miami,
from the D-League.
really the only thing...
Tyler Johnson.
Can they trade their D-League team and Tyler Johnson?
No, but they could
Pat
try
Riley
to
would be able
package
to do
a
it.
Pat Riley would make it
Dragic in
happen.
there. I don't think the Cavs
You were
take it.
high on Dragic
I don't
being
think the
moved last
Cavs
year,
take
so-
it, but really, if you're
That was before they went on the run.
if you're going for Kyrie, you're going to give up Dragic in that deal.
I think that's fair. I'm still leaning heavily towards New York, though, because Carmelo Anthony...
so they can take another
is-
bad contract from Tim Hardaway Jr.
Carmelo
what's-
Anthony
what's
wants
the
out.
deal?
It's a win-win for both teams.
Is it
I think
getting rid of Kyrie and bringing in Melo?
I think it has to be. You sign
How
Derrick
is it?
Rose, and you have Carmelo Anthony. You reunite those two brothers because they had such fun last year. And then you could add on LeBron James, Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson. Like, how does that lineup not win?
What is the deal? So what?
I mean, you pretty
Melo
much-
and
it's-
Kyrie are the focal points.
Yeah, I think you have to
Then
toss in like Channing Frye and like.
But you need to add a
Kuzmiskis or-
team because can New York take
You can
on?
do those two. You can do Frye and Kyrie Irving for Kuzmiskis and Melo. Like, that works out money-wise. I think if Melo doesn't do the trade kicker.
But does it give him enough money to sign D Rose? Does it give him
Isn't
enough
the
money
trade
to
kicker
have
Rose
moves
is
later?
going to be like, he needs like an MLE. pretty
Isn't the
much,
trade
yeah.
kicker automatic though?
He can waive it.
Okay.
Because he said he
I
came out
don't-
today and said he would waive it for the Rockets.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to waive it for the Cavs.
You don't know. And that's the thing. You don't know. I'm just saying, like, that would be an exciting deal because that lines up LeBron and Carmelo on the same team. Those two guys would be fantastic to play together because that was supposed to be the rivalry, the showdown, the matchup since they entered the league. We watched Melo be the standout scorer when he started, and LeBron kind of shied away from the last-minute shots. You had that dynamic going, and then LeBron obviously gone on to success, while Melo has gone on to excellent contracts for himself.
Yeah, excellent. Getting money, getting paid.
I think that'd be fun. And Kyrie gets to go to New York and be the spotlight of the biggest city in America. Like,
in the most
that is like
historic arena in the
Mecca.
NBA.
Yeah. Kyrie in New York would be fun. I'm definitely not saying that.
Yeah.
But then also you look at they just drafted Frank. I know Frank needs time.
Frank needs a lot of time.
Frank needs time. But even then, I mean, Kyrie most likely is going to stay. He's only 25 years old.
That's the
and
thing.
I mean, really, he's got
a guy who's pre-prime.
Again, he's got 10 years left.
And it makes sense for on the side of James Dolan because he only cares about butts in the seats and getting himself more money. He don't care if the team wins.
I mean, I'm sure this is too clean cut of a deal, but in my mind, like if something like this goes down, I think both teams walk away happy because both teams eliminate the headaches from their locker room. You can't have a guy in Kyrie Irving saying, I don't want to play with LeBron James going into the season and have to play with LeBron James. Like, that's an awful thing to force on your team.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you've got Carmelo Anthony, who's being publicly shit-talked, shopped,
Public
and
enemy number one.
just everything under the sun by New York.
Hold on. So ultimately, do you think, and we'll go back to more teams and more deals, but just the fact that when we talk about this, can you have LeBron James and Kyrie Irving start with each other in the 2017-2018 season?
Yes, you can.
Can you?
You can.
With this coming out?
I think you can because LeBron's a professional. And
LeBron's a professional. I know that, but with Kyrie saying this, and yes, it didn't go public until a week later.
Yeah.
But still, it came out. Somehow it leaked out. I mean, you don't think that anyway?
I think it's a ticking time bomb.
What? Let's put it this way. Even though it came out to us a week later, you're telling me that there were some inklings that LeBron's circle didn't know about this before today. I'm feeling like there might have been someone in that circle that knew. Might not have told him because they're like, we're not going to, I don't want to break that news.
Don't want to anger him.
I will let someone else break it to him. But part of me feels like, yes, you can have them on the same team coming in because I feel like if they start day one, it's not like they're going to say, well, we're not going to try to win a championship with each other because you said you want to trade.
Be like F you, I'm only passing to Kevin Love. Like, that's not going to happen. I think
Here, JR, shoot a three.
Caleb's usage is going to go through the roof.
We could see that, actually. But still, I think that it's a ticking time bomb. I think it can only get worse from here. Like, they have a decent relationship. Obviously, they've been on the same team for a couple of years now. They've had great success, and obviously, they know where they're going to end.
Yeah.
Like, we can't beat the Warriors. That's the best we can be. Fine. Like, I think that's kind of set in his mind already. So, I think just moving forward, it's a matter of like, anytime anything doesn't go their way, I'm waiting for that next explosion because that's what it's going to turn out to be. So, I think they can start there. I don't necessarily think that they're going to finish the season on the same team.
It's interesting to say. It would be crazy to see a Kyrie Irving deal actually go down. I don't think that New York's going to happen. I just feel like Melo is not enough to drive that needle. I don't think Minnesota's going to happen. I don't think San Antonio's going to happen. I don't think Miami's going to happen. So I don't think Kyrie's going to get his wish and go to a place.
I'll give you a team outside, though.
However, let me set it up, and then I'll throw it out there. Chris Broussard, guy on FS1. He first off, I think he had a stroke because one of his tweets 4 hours ago was, "World, you give up Andrew Wiggins and Jeff Teague for Kyrie." Yeah, I would.
Yeah, unfortunately, he got massacred for that because Teague obviously can't be traded till like December 18th.
Yeah, and then he also said the King might need to go to the Alamo, and the Undisputed put out a terribly photoshopped picture of LeBron in a Spurs uniform. And then he said, with or without Kyrie, LJ, and Cavs still win the East. That didn't make any sense, but this is the one that is interesting. I think this might lead into your point. Cavs should push for Eric Bledsoe and Devin Booker. Great defender, a great shooter. Both could play off LeBron James. So ultimately, I think that's way too much. I don't think Phoenix is going to do that. But do you think Phoenix is the most sensible move because they can take on some of the bad contracts Cleveland has and then ultimately push towards? Because, I mean, Kyrie's not going to get his wish, but he'd still be out of Cleveland.
No, it'd be a great move for Phoenix only because with everything that's been going on in the West, Phoenix has kind of been that team where it's like, yeah, they've got all these young players. They're the ones that have the most potential. Then you put Kyrie on that team, and it could be enough to put a shot in the arm to where we're talking about them as that like race for the 8th seed, race for the 7th seed. If Kyrie can ball out and lead this team with Devin Booker and that young talent.
Well, that's the question is what, like Bledsoe's for sure the piece they're looking for out of this, which I love because, and I've talked on a lot.
Hold on. If Booker's in that deal,
I understand.
he is the focal point.
I don't think Booker gets moved, period. I think he's cemented as a Sun right now.
I don't think so. And the reason why I read those earlier Broussard tweets is because I think he's off his rocker.
Yeah. Broussard's just stabbing in the dark. He's calling around trying to get Kyrie's number.
He's doing exactly what I'm doing. I'm looking up on Trade Machine. But anyways, like he's like, hey, Booker and Bledsoe.
In my mind, like Bledsoe would be a great fit. He's baby Bron. He has similar numbers, just scaled down a little bit. You know, the only problem for him is his
Phoenix.
injury. Well, the problem is his injuries. So, like, you can't really trust him long term, but I think in the short term, he would come and he'd give them a little bit of everything. He can do scoring, he can play defensively, he gets you boards. It's everything they would want. But the big question is, like you said, value, and it's going to be Bledsoe plus something. And if you're going to have to give a piece between, I think Booker, Chris, Bender, and Jackson, like, I don't know that I don't know which one I would go up. I think it would obviously be between Chris and Bender, but even then, like, Bender's like young, like he's still younger. I know a lot of people want to write off because he had like the injury his rookie year, and obviously Summerlee didn't look amazing to start. So, but still, like, they've got such young talent that
I'm not giving away.
Them.
I'm not mortgaging the farm just to get Kyrie.
That's where I'm at, because last week
if you get Kyrie again, he's 25 years old, a finished product and a finished superstar. If you get rid of Chris or Bender, I don't think that kills you at all. I would do that for Kyrie.
It might not kill you, but I wouldn't want to mortgage mortgage the farm of young talent just to get a Kyrie.
I think Kyrie is young talent, is what I'm saying. He's 25 years old.
Yeah, I think I'd give up Chris. If it was Bledsoe, Chris, and a first, I think I'd pull the trigger on that one.
I mean,
Chris just doesn't have basketball IQ.
Let's put it this way, though.
What?
After 2 years after the season, do you really think, if you're Phoenix, that you can get Kyrie to sign long term with you? No.
I don't know about that.
I don't think so.
Because he's still the focal point of that team. Yeah. And he could be the star of that team, which is what he wants. He didn't say he wants to play for a big market. He didn't say he wants to go to certain teams because of the lifestyle they offer. But I mean, still, you look at Phoenix, that would be a team of Kyrie Irving, Devin Booker, Josh Jackson, and then Chris, and then they would just need to fill that power forward role if Bender goes away.
No, keep Bender. Fuck Chris. Like,
either way, Bender or Chris.
I know what you're saying.
That's still a nice four-piece you got right there.
It still is, yeah. And Tyson Chandler, the ageless wonder out there.
And his contract's gonna be up soon too. So you'll still be able to sign these guys, and you can still bring a bench to this team. I don't know about Earl Watson as a head coach, but still, I mean, you have 2 years.
I think because they have the assets and because they have the young talent, and they're definitely going in the right direction. Adding Kyrie Irving to that team, I think would be an awesome move for the organization. My concern is, like, how many wins they have last year? How many wins did Kyrie have on his own team before LeBron showed up? I know it's been a couple of years.
He has matured.
He's developed his game a little bit more. But again, how hard can he carry a team with a bunch of inexperienced kids? That's what we're asking him to do again.
But he's got 2 years to do that.
Right. So I think it's a fair question. I think it's a good position for him, though. I think I like the Phoenix fit.
See, and the way I'm looking at it is that's a deal where you can look at it and go, how would that work for Kyrie? Let's be honest. He's not in the driver's seat. It's not like we said, it's not Melo where it's like, I have a no trade clause. I will only waive it for this team and this team.
He could be
really
polite. That's it.
With me, I'm looking for it is what can Gilbert and this team get out of players? And the one that I look at, and this is not because I'm a homer, but it's because of this player has played with LeBron James before. And if you're sitting here going, I cannot let Kyrie and LeBron play on the same team coming into this season, do you entertain a trade for D. Wade? Another one-year contract? Basically, this would be the side of, we're going for this year. I'm trying to get a guy in here that LeBron could be happy with, who is in the LeBron camp and can play with LeBron to make him happy so that he stays.
Throwing the balls out there.
The trade I have, and this is just bare bones, it works though. Cavs get D. Wade, Bulls get Irving and Fry. And we only get Fry because of D. Wade's contract. We would need to throw in Fry to get it. But Fry's a 1 year. He's expired, and it's really, you're giving Kyrie to the Bulls for D. Wade. Of course, there'd be a little bit more in there. The Bulls might have to give up some picks for that.
Just maybe like 2 first-round picks.
How about Jerry
Reinsdorf's
like 3 grandchildren, Reinsdorf's like $100 million, and like Jordan, like,
and he renames the team to the Dan Gilberts.
How does Kyrie, Channing Frye, and like a little bit more with D. Wade work?
Well, you're
getting a 36-year-old guy with no knees and a $24 million contract.
But I'm looking at it for the fact of
it's making LeBron James happy.
D. Wade can still contribute, and it makes LeBron happy.
That's the level Kyrie can.
And that's the thing. Do you think that this trade, like, we don't know the ripple effect of this news yet. And that's just one, I'm not saying it's going to happen. As a Bulls fan, I'm not getting my hopes up pulling out the faux Kyrie jerseys. I'm just saying it's possible, and D-Wade could be someone that the Cavs just look at. Look at.
If Miami has no chance, Chicago has no chance. I'll put it that way.
Ooh.
I don't think there's teams that have, like, unless you're Orlando, you have a chance. Unless you're Orlando. Like Orlando doesn't have a chance.
Orlando has assets?
Unless you're going to give up Bismack Biyombo.
I worked out an Orlando deal.
I know.
Aaron
Fantastic.
Because you
Bismack Biyombo.
Yeah, it's a 14
Alfred
trade.
Payton. Yeah.
4-team trades.
Still worked out. Ultimately, out of all the 29 teams in the NBA, which team is Kyrie going to end up on, I guess? I mean, if you had to pick a team.
If I had to.
Just let's say to start the season and then after the trade deadline, because I think Dave's on different camps. So you're going to say he's going to stay with the Cavs, right?
I think he's stuck with the Cavs right now. I don't. You know what? It's also new. Like I could say that, and like tomorrow he's going to be traded. Like that's my fear. Is like this is such a volatile situation. Like it could just be push him out of town as quick as possible. Like you always look to the teams with most assets. So it's always the Suns. It's always Boston, and then we've seen how vocal Portland has been with their assets trying to get involved in the Carmelo trade because they've got a bunch of veteran-ish guys on long-term locked-in contracts.
Would you trade CJ and a little bit more for Kyrie?
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, would that make sense for them? I mean, would that put them in a position to win an NBA championship?
No, but
and could Dame and Kyrie even play with each other?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's similar to the Harden. Like, no offense to Kyrie, but like he's a shooting guard in a point guard's body. Like, he is such an excellent scorer. And he's naturally a 2, but like he plays the 1 at a very high level still. I think you put Dame and him next to each other, and that is just as dynamic of a backcourt as you have in Houston with Chris Paul and James Harden.
But one thing where Chris Paul is he is natural
point
distributor.
Guard. Yep, yeah.
Where both of those guys, Dame's putting up 30, Kyrie wants to be put up 30.
I know, that's what I'm excited about.
And Dame's been there. So it's really his team, so would he be able to feel his team? I think the hardest part of this trade...
Plus, they want Melo more. CJ came out and had the thing.
Well, yeah,
Melo in a Blazer jersey.
Yeah, because
he doesn't conflict.
Yeah, because if
it fits the whole
he's not going to put Kyrie in a Portland jersey there because he's going to Cleveland. He doesn't want to go to Cleveland. Let's go to fucking Cleveland. That's why Kyrie wants to.
In my mind, it's going to come down to a team with a ton of assets because I don't think he's getting any of the ones he wants other than the New York one. That's an outside shot. That's a 4-team deal, like you said.
Yeah.
Craziness will ensue. Like the one that I just want to see happen. Just for like how curious would this be would be Milwaukee. Like putting him on a Milwaukee
I thought about
team.
Milwaukee, yeah.
Like they've got enough guys who could be wanted by this Cavs team, but
Brogdon.
I don't think Brogdon gets moved. I mean, he could. I mean, you bring back Delly. You could go for Mirza because he's a 3-point shooter. I know he had a down year, but like he still gives you outside shooting at a decent rate. I mean, they've got enough guys on decent contracts. That one could line up because Giannis on that side, you have Kyrie stretching the floor. Could be a scary team.
That would be ridiculous.
You know what I think?
Giannis being your point guard and Kyrie just hitting shots from the outside.
Scary.
That'd be dangerous.
The trade that I think is the best is the one that Shefty put out.
Oh, God. I looked at the team.
No. Kyrie for Garoppolo. Cleveland gets their quarterback. Boston gets a point guard. It's a win-win there. It's a win-win.
The first team that I thought of when all this came out was Cleveland. Was Boston.
I have a Boston trade.
I'd say he's got it up right now.
Yeah,
Kyrie to Boston
Isaiah,
for Isaiah, Jay, and Morris.
First-round picks, too.
Well, yeah, of
Morris can't be moved.
Let me do it. The trade machine.
I don't know if he can be moved for teams because he was just traded, unless that's just for signees. But whatever.
Maybe. Yeah.
But ultimately, I don't know. I won't happen.
Because that's an interesting one of... If I'm
Isaiah
Danny Ainge, do you look at it and
do you say no?
Do you look at it and go,
who do you want more, Isaiah or Kyrie?
I'll take Kyrie because then I don't have to deal with the Isaiah Thomas BS at the end of the year with the contract.
I'll take Kyrie without a doubt. I mean, I don't think anyone...
And you get him for 2 years?
I don't think Boston fans would say no to Kyrie over
with
Isaiah
Hayward?
Thomas. However, I mean, you look at it and, people love Isaiah Thomas in Boston.
That's
and it's something where...
There's a fan factor.
Where, again, we got yelled at because we kept saying that Boston doesn't have a direction. So they are trying to go young in some ways. So... I don't know if Danny Ainge would be willing. If he wasn't willing to give it up...
Kyrie's younger than Isaiah.
Yeah, if he wasn't willing to go
and he's taller, too.
If he wasn't willing to go for any other
big
fish, I don't see him going for Kyrie.
But I mean, I can't wait for the trade talks to come out of this and be like, so we were on the phone.
They wanted 7 first, Dave. That's too much.
Danny Ainge is the smartest GM in the world.
Danny
by
Ainge offered 7 first, but they didn't want it.
They didn't want 7 first.
That's what Danny Ainge.
They offered him Gordon Hayward too. They're like, hey, we know we can't be traded yet.
Like, we'll
hook him up.
We gave him
December.
Brad Stevens, Larry Bird's corpse, and we gave him 15 draft picks, and they said no.
And a ring. Like, we gave him the ring from.
We gave him 16 of our rings. They said
don't even
no.
need him. They said no.
We gave him one of Kevin McHale's rings.
We were giving him the lease to the Boston Garden. They said no. Anyways, I don't know when Kyrie's going to get traded, but I hope he does.
I think it would be an interesting conversation in the IT for Irving, only because of the fact that all the drama. I know from my side that I've brought up that you can't win a championship with IT. I mean, you look at I compare IT to Iverson, where it's like the smaller point guards.
Yeah.
Go out there and get Kyrie. However, would Cleveland give him to Boston,
I think
knowing that great, we're not going to the finals now?
We got to wrap this up. So, any final teams that you think Kyrie's going to go to? Ultimately, I do not think he's going to get moved.
Timberwolves.
Ricky's ridiculous. The outside one I heard, which was hilarious to me and struck some interest, was going him for Boogie, plus or minus pieces, because that one just screams interesting. Because
they just got Rondo.
Yeah. Great.
They just got Rondo.
Recent Drew Holiday.
Yeah, I say I don't care. Like adding Anthony Davis plus Kyrie Irving would just be super interesting. Drew can move over to the 2. Rondo can play off the bench. We know he can. He's great with second teams.
Well, Drew's more of the natural point guard fit, right. So he would be. Kyrie could just play the 2.
Exactly. You could
Rondo off the bench.
You could run with that. Absolutely. And then you got Boogie, who is known for destroying. I don't want to say destroying too much, but. He has been very good against the Warriors. Like, if there's a knock against the Warriors, it's how they can handle the bigs inside. And him being one of the best scoring, bigs, it's hard to say no. The only problem is,
the only thing is
up here,
is up there and
him versus Draymond in a 7 series.
And Boogie's gonna see K Love hit a 3 and be like, I can do that, and then try to just shoot from the outside.
I got one final deal.
We got to wrap it up.
This is the end.
I know we're coming up on 29:59. So if this is stupid, I'm blaming you.
Just go.
Okay. Anyways.